Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going to be diving deep into the unconscious drivers of our relationships. This is the secret sauce because it's not really available to everybody else. And we typically don't know what somebody's unconscious drivers are in really anything. It's in their brain. We only get the result in terms of how it's expressed. So if you have this, oh my goodness, you can avoid so much conflict in any relationship, whether that's professional or personal. And this is really, really great because it lets you know what to avoid and what to do in a relationship with you. Welcome. I'm Justin Finesse, CEO, founder of the Lifeprint OS, and I want to welcome you today to one of the most important senses because we all have relationships, whether that's personal or professional, however it is. And so let's jump in today and really have a look at our Lifeprint and how this really plays a major role in what we're looking. As before, just overview, we've got the calendar to map dates. We've got the actual torsion field in terms of our algorithm and what our equation looks like and formula looks like. And then we've got the sprint button. So this is a coaching card that you'll have for everybody. I'm looking forward to actually showing you the full app and the full suite once we get through all of this, as you'll start to see how important this is when it all comes together. So this is the coaching card for me. 44 years old, born on the 11th of October, 1979. And you can see every day that we come back, it's typically a different day, right? So today's a stress and movement day, networking day. So it's actually really good for me to be doing these things. So what I do basically is just as a kind of how this works is on a stress movement and networking day, I'm typically doing reach outs. This is where I'll do a lot of my marketing, a lot of my messaging. I'll reach out to certain people that I am trying to date in terms of business. There's a whole bunch of stuff that happens specifically for this day. Why? Because the day is primed for me to do that. Why wouldn't I take advantage of that energy and utilize that in my everyday connection with my perception, right? And so this is very, very, very important. So diving in, we're going to cover today what we call the relationship performance. The relationship performance is interesting because it's the unconscious driver within a relationship. So like I said before, you don't see this. And so you want to look at what it is that this person, what matters most to them is the meaning in their relationship. So as always, I'm using myself as an example, but it'll be different for you. My relationship is inspirational. The optimizer is an inspirational connectivity key, motivational and inspirational. Okay. So I need a lot of this in terms of my relationship as an unconscious driver, because the optimizer, what means most to it is independence and significance, meaning I'm important enough to make my own decisions and come and go as I please. But it's also important that I have that sense of independence. I don't feel tied down. I don't feel trapped, right? So if anybody in the relationship is telling this optimizer what to do and how to do it, is not going to end very, very well. It's probably going to get defiant. It's probably going to argue. It's probably going to literally have an attitude problem. It's going to start being indifferent to any control system that takes away its independence and its significance. And that's where, whether we're looking in the home performance or in the professional performance, this is going to play a very big part in how these are, whether that person is dealing with it in a protective mindset or whether they're dealing with it in a growth mindset, depending on whether it's personal or professional. Remember, you've got a growth set of behaviors and you've got a protective set of behaviors. And depending on the emotion is dependent on the meaning of what it means to you is the driver of those, okay? And so this really gives us a massive clue in what we can do, what we should do, and what we really shouldn't do in the relationship with you, with me, or with anybody else we're looking at. Now imagine, because this is a little bit of secret sauce. What happens if you had two coaching cards here and you could actually see each individual perception model, and then you could see the combination of these two people in chemistry, in synergy? Would it be synergy or would it be separation? Because it's either going to come together and be an attractive field and kind of work, or it's going to work hard at separating, right? Because it's almost like two magnets. These sides, that they won't, no matter how much you try, and it just won't go. They have to be the right way. Oops, excuse me. They have to be the right way in order to fit, in order to click, right? And so we've got different connectivities: practical connectivity, inspirational connectivity, intellectual connectivity, emotional connectivity, right? This is why sometimes, especially with emotional connectors, they typically like to ask people, how are you feeling? So listen to the language of people too. They'll let you know what their actual patterning is. How are you feeling today? Well, Mr. Intellectual doesn't really connect with feelings. It connects with ideas, energy, like all of the enthusiasm and stuff. And so it's going to have a disconnect. Whereas if this connector knew that this was an intellectual connectivity key, they'd go, hey, what you're working on today? What direction are you moving? Do you have any ideas around certain things? And then this would literally be able to pair, because now you're talking to this person's perception, not from this from my perception. So this is where LifePrint is super, super powerful, because it allows you to adjust your leadership style and your language model to build the rapport to get people into resonance, and so you can get results. If you don't have the ability to turn any resistance into rapport, you're going to be pushed away and people move away from you, unless it's a really good synergy and match and there's an attractive feel. But however, it's very few. And so what we do is this gives us insights into, okay, how do I connect with this person? How do I clarify my communication in a conversational way that matters to them, that's going to get them to move because it means enough to them? And thereby, if I focus on their resistance and offer them a result that they're looking for, because I know how much it means to them, then it becomes a natural movement for them to make the decision on their own and then take the action. What typically happens, especially in sales, is that we either persuade or convince someone against something that they already want to do. So they don't want to, and then they feel as if they were convinced or they were persuaded to do something. And typically that doesn't end up well. There's refunds, they are a resistant client, and it's almost like you always have to fight, or this like a challenge with them, there's resistance. When you use the LifePrint operating system, you reduce the resistance and you can build rapport. Rapport is the first cornerstone of trust being built. And then when you do that consistently, then you get into resonance with someone, right? And that's synergy. And synergy creates more harmony. Harmony creates more trust and therefore movement. I hope today has been valuable for you. I have so much to share and so much to give. I hope that it is benefiting you. I'd like to thank you from my heart to yours for staying with us. And we've got 2 more videos to go, and that will end this series. I look forward to any feedback that you have for us. If we could improve in any way, let us know. Have a beautiful day, have a beautiful week, and have a beautiful life.